Good morning, everyone. I wanted to jump on here really quickly today just to tell you guys a little bit of feedback about the assignments that you got back yesterday. So at this point, every single class period has their graded feedback for the paper one assignment where you were writing the introduction and your first two body paragraphs. As long as you submitted it on Monday, then you got the feedback back yesterday. There are some students who submitted it late, like really late. So that feedback I'll be working on today. In any case, I wanted to just quickly review something. If you look at my screen, you'll see that obviously there's 10 prompts, and all of you at this point have picked one. All 10 of these prompts are discursive. I mentioned this to you guys when I gave you the initial assignment, but there were still a few students who chose to write their essays as argumentative. You can't do that. If it's a discursive essay prompt, you have to write discursively. You can't go the other way around. We had talked about upgrading, as in, like, you have an argumentative prompt, you can upgrade to discursive, but you can't go backwards. So if you see the commentary on your feedback, if you see my feedback that says something along the lines of, like, you need to review discursive format, please make use of the resources that I left for you. I'm going to go back to the original assignment, which is the intro and first two body paragraphs. On this assignment, if we click here to view it, you will see that there are a lot of resources here for you. Okay, there's a discursive essay sample that you should have in your binder, but it's the one on alternative energy. And there's this other document called Discursive Thesis Frames, which tells you how to write specifically a discursive thesis and the different ways that you can word it. There's also this document that gives you an intro to discursive writing. So these three things, if I wrote the feedback on your on your document that said, like, review discursive format, these are the things that you need to look at. You need to look at that discursive essay sample again, look at how she structures her introduction, and then look at how she structures her pro and con paragraphs. Also remember, in that sample essay, she writes a series of short paragraphs. I told you guys, instead of doing that, you're going to be writing your one body paragraph, but you just need to make sure that each body paragraph has two examples. Okay, the second thing that I wanted to quickly talk about was there were some of you guys who I wrote something on your document about misinterpreting the prompt. It's really important that you read the prompt carefully. I'm going to go over quickly the prompts that were most popular. So number one was really popular, where it says, families are less united than they have ever been. Discuss this statement with reference to family values in your country. In your introduction, you want to make sure you talk about what family values are in the United States, because every country is different. And for the most part, you guys all chose to write about the country that you currently live in, even if you're from another country. So you need to make sure you say that in your introduction. These are the family values that are important in the United States. And then you're thinking about whether or not families are more or less united than they've ever been. So are families less united now than they were in the past? Or are they more united now than they were in the past? Your topic sentences need to do with that, whether or not families are united. Another one that was really, really popular was this one right here, number 4. Evaluate the actions which could be taken to solve the most serious environmental problem in your country. Again, it's asking you to pick the most serious environmental problem and state what country you're in. So in your introduction, you need to say something like, pollution is the most serious environmental problem in the United States, or deforestation, or there's just so many different problems you could write about, but you need to establish what problem you're writing about and that you're in the United States. The other thing with this question is the question says evaluate the actions that could be taken to solve the most serious environmental problem. That means that you're not evaluating the environmental problem. You're not giving me like the pros and cons of pollution. You're evaluating the actions that could be taken. So I would be saying, okay, to solve pollution, people do this. What are the pros of this and what are the cons of this? Point one. What's the second thing people do to combat pollution? Pros, cons. They are asking you to evaluate the actions. Okay, so that's what that question means. Those were the two most popular ones. I did have some people, or quite a few people, pick number 7, which says to discuss whether the performing arts are important to the culture of your country. This question was also slightly misinterpreted by some people because it's asking whether performing arts are important to the culture. It's not asking you whether performing arts are good or bad. Okay, so again, it's asking your country, so you want to establish that you're talking about the United States, and then you want to talk about the way that performing arts are important to the culture. So for example, maybe your first pro con is going to be about how the performing arts influences fashion. Okay, here's how performing arts are important to fashion. Here's how they aren't. You want to think about culture. The culture involves things we do, things we say, the way we are. So those are the things that you want to think about. Okay. And then last one is a lot of people picked, 9 and 10, they were relatively popular. Just to quickly remind you guys, media is like the news, right? Like media. So basically it's saying, is freedom of the media important? You have to think about, okay, this is why having a free press is important, and this is why it's not important. And you have to compare those. And then lastly, it says here, an uneducated society has never existed. There were a lot of people who picked this prompt, and you kind of got a little confused. When we're talking about an uneducated society, it's asking you to think about what educated means. So you want to think about, okay, has there ever been a time where our society wasn't educated? Think about the way, some people talked about like school, how some people view education as school. That's awesome, okay? So compare the past to the present when, that sort of thing, okay? Now, I know that was really brief. So if you have individual questions about understanding your prompt, today is Thursday. I'm available for office hours from 10 to 11 and 2 to 3. So please, please, please come to office hours if you're having trouble. If I wrote anything on your essay about misunderstanding the prompt, or discursive format, and you are not understanding how to fix that, please let me know, okay? For the assignment today, or not today, the assignment that's due Monday, I assigned it yesterday. Please follow these directions. The reason why I highlighted them in blue is because I wanted you to follow them. First of all, please make my life easy and paste your prompt in the box where it says paste your prompt. So many people didn't do that, and it makes my life really difficult because I need to be able to quickly see what prompt you're answering in order to be able to make sure that you did the assignment correctly. You are going to copy and paste your introduction, make any changes that I suggested to the introduction when you copy and paste it. So copy and paste it, and then make the changes here on this new document. Same thing for body paragraph number 1. Copy and paste it, make the changes you need to make. Same thing for body paragraph number 2. Copy and paste it, make the changes you need to make. What you are doing new on this document is you are writing body paragraph 3, body paragraph 4, and your conclusion, okay? I'm going to repeat something that is already said here in the directions because some people didn't read it, okay? You have to have body paragraph 1 and 2 should be pro and con about the one topic. Body paragraph 3 and 4 should be pro and con about your second topic. That's why on the brainstorm sheet, I asked you to brainstorm 2 areas of the hand, because your first pro and con should be about the first area and your second pro and con should be about the second area, okay? And then when you get down here to the conclusion, remember, in a discursive conclusion, you have to state your opinion. It's like the place where you get to say how you really feel. However, you are not using I voice. I should not see I voice anywhere in your essay. None of these questions are personal questions. They are not asking you for personal examples. So you need to take the I voice out. I was really surprised to see quite a few people using the I voice in their introductions and their body paragraphs. We have discussed all year that that is not okay. The other thing that I saw a lot of people doing is using the word you. We've talked about talking to the reader and using the word you. That just can't be. You have to say what you mean. Instead of saying you think this, say, teenagers think this, or Americans think this, or most people think this. Be really careful about saying things like all people, because there's very few things in life that all people think. But my point is, you guys have known literally since the beginning of the school year that you don't use the I voice. Actually, you probably learned that last year, but you don't use the I voice. And I've been teaching you all year to stop using the word you. So those are two big things that I noticed, like in quite a few people's essays, where you could really fix that very easily and make your score higher. So please pay attention here to these directions. When I say to you that the paragraph should be 8 to 10 sentences, or the paragraph should be 4 to 8 sentences, like, don't write 2 sentences, don't write 3 sentences, write what I tell you to write, and you will get a good score. Your scores that you got on the first part of the assignment are based on the rubric. It doesn't necessarily translate to the exact grade you're going to get in the grade book, so please don't stress about that. I will enter those grades shortly. And again, if you have any questions, obviously I can't go over every single thing in this video, or it would be hours long. But if you have any specific questions, like, please, please, please come to office hours. I'm happy to help you. I'll be on Google Meets today from 10 to 11 and 2 to 3. Have a good day, guys, and good luck with your assignment. If you need anything, I'm here for you. And we're almost done, so hang in there.